because I think that you're wired to bring in some very high voltage, literally. And I think that, not to scare you, but it's like you need to remain grounded on Mother Earth, because you're meant to bring in some very high vibration. If you're not grounded, I think you're still pulling in all this electrical energy. Hello, my friend, and welcome back to another fun-filled week of 2017. And evolutionary is the term. Last week, the universe dropped some new bombshells on the collective consciousness. And this week, Sensei says you'll be struggling to find your frequency and where you fit in. From my smartphone to yours, keep streaming for your weekly Namaste Today. Welcome to Namaste Today, a metro spiritual way to start every day. I'm your host, Sensei Christopher Witecki. I'm a psychic astrologer, spiritual life coach, and officially a friend to the world. So grateful you've shown up. Namaste, my friend. Well, this week things get a little freaky. We're in Aquarius energy, that is I belong, or that is the energy of the law of attraction. Thing is people don't quite understand what's going on. And last week, the universe definitely shifted things up. We had a step 4 day with Uranus, and we had a new moon. So this week, I argue, people will be struggling to find their own identity and their own frequency, where they frequent and who they frequent with during this next week. So it's going to be a little out of this world, a little awkward, says Sensei. But I'll have some help for you in your tea time. I have some tips on the human re-evolution. But first, let's take a look at the week's moods and your 5-day moodcast. This zodiac weather is for Monday, January 30th to Friday, February 3rd, 2017. Looking at your 5-day moodcast. Well, it looks like the best days of the week will be Monday and Friday, and Sensei says Thursday is the most challenging. Let's dive deeper. On Monday, it's sunny and healing. It's also Love Fest Day, the most powerful day of the month to exchange love and tell people that you love them. On Tuesday, sunny and compassionate, entering into the higher spiritual realms. On Wednesday, it's sunny and expanding outside your normal box, so expect maybe new doors to open on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, it's sunny and eventually clear. The morning may start cloudy and confused. Then on Friday, it's sunny and creatively expanding, so it's going to end on a bright note. Now, taking a look at the next week, we are in Aquarius, we're in Chapter 2, and we're trying to find where it is we belong. That is where we want to frequent. So in our next segment, let's take a sneak peek at the coming week. Taking a peek at the coming week, it looks like it's going to be a change of frequency. In fact, I coin it finding my frequency. Last week was a little tumultuous. We had a lot of spiritual consciousness pour on the planet. It may look like a lot of radical change, but looking at the planets, the universe is actually investing in spirit, spirit, spirit. So despite what it appears, it seems the universe is trying to get us to our higher spiritual calling. And that may be through negative reinforcement. President Trump, whose sun conjuncts Uranus, is literally doing the conscious jackhammering of old foundation. Too early to tell if it's going to end up positive or negative, but one thing's for sure, we are now in change. And so last week it was about cutting away from the change, finding where you spiritually belong, and committing to that base level. This week you're going to try to find your frequency. In other words, where do you fit in? And you may be playing this out in a number of stories, where you fit in at work, where you fit in the family, where you fit inside yourself, where you fit in society, all right? But it represents an overall frequency in general. Like once you choose one, you'll be able to find where you should frequent in other areas of your life and create this inner harmony. So this week is really about finding your frequency, and it happens actually from an emotional perspective. On Monday, it's Love Fest Day. This Love Fest will be at Venus Step 27. So this is going to be a high spiritual love vibration, calling people into their higher spiritual truths. All right. And I think this is kind of the tone for the entire month of February. I'll be talking about that in my February megascopes. But we actually have a solar eclipse in Pisces at the end of February, or the third week or so. And so this first Love Fest is kind of the getting everyone warmed up for where you spiritually belong. So the week starts off very warm and very healing on Monday. But then the moon moves into Aries, and so you're emotionally going to be looking for your strength. So Tuesday, Wednesday, are you feeling strong about this? Can you do this? You're going to have to man or woman up at some point emotionally, where you're just going to have to get your emotions behind what it is you want to do, or might have to overcome an emotional obstacle so that you can be where you truly belong. For instance, maybe to get where you belong or to commit to where you belong, you might have to let somebody down, so you might have to get emotionally strong behind that. And then it looks like around Friday, things start to clear up. You start to get ready to go, okay, I can build on this, I can commit to this frequency, and by the end of the week, here over the weekend, the moon moves into Gemini, and so you're really literally ready to sign off and say, okay, this is where I want to frequent, this is what I'm going to target. And from that frequency, from that vibration, that core vibration that you find, you're going to be able to harmonize the rest of your life to that frequency. So it's a shopping for our personal frequency this week. And I cannot stress enough the guise of spirit. Right now, the universe is really pouring on a lot of spiritual energy for us to come and ascend to our next level of where our spirit truly belongs. Saturn this week is at step 25, which means find your spiritual cause in your personal story. Saturn is also beginning to conjunct the galactic center, which means despite craziness, the universe is pulling us to our calling, pulling us to where, or I say the story we were born to live. So how do you stay afloat in all of this? Well, the biggest thing is that you stay in your heart. So Aquarius is about your heart. This week, when you're shopping for where you frequent, where you're trying to feel if you can get strong or not about it, really the deciding factor is your heart on board? Can your heart go 100% with this without water? You know, when your heart can do it and doesn't even care to get paid, that's the right answer. And I have to say, this is Aquarius. And Aquarius is all conceptual, theoretical, big picture. None of this is tangible. None of this you can actually count. It all seems like it's in the ethos, and it is. You're basically deciding where you belong in groups in society, where you belong in the world, and from there, everything else is going to kind of form and shape around. So the real trick to the week is listening to your heart and listening to your spirit. And don't worry, you don't have to actually commit to a frequency this week. You just have to find one. Now, with all the Aquarius energy, it brought up the next topic for our tea time. I want to talk about the human re-evolution. So go steep yourself some tea, and let's have our weekly tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is the human re-evolution. And I believe that's what this is. When I say this, I mean what you see beginning to change now. We've all heard it, the age of Aquarius. Well, if you don't know, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So if there's any one planet that's going to tell us when this is all going to happen, it is Uranus. And right now, Uranus is in the high degrees of Aries, which means human beings are being pushed to innovate their ego. Now, it might interest you to know that the last time this happened was in the 1930s, and it was Uranus in Aries that I believe was pushing all the Nazi propaganda and this what we call fascism. So human beings are on the regular cycle and regular rate that they normally do to face fascism, and you might say that we are seeing it once again. We may be rooting it out. But one thing is for certain, once Uranus hits Taurus, you're going to see fire hit the road. You're going to see things change, and that's actually what happened the last time. In fact, the last time Uranus was in Aries, basically Hitler was moving forward with all of his propaganda, but as soon as Uranus went into Taurus, which was March 1935, he immediately announced the rearmament of Germany, going against the Geneva Convention. So he immediately, as soon as Uranus goes to Taurus, boom, he starts breaking the rules. Now, he was a Taurus, okay? But the point is that Aries is the seed. Aries is the idea. Aries is the first seed being planted. Taurus is the first sprout of the issue, which means that as soon as Uranus moves in Taurus this time, we're going to see these issues that we're all worried about actually sprouting. Between now and then, Sensei says you have some time to prepare, and that's precisely what this is about, how to prepare for the human re-evolution. Now, I'll just say right now that it's in May 2018, that Uranus will go 0 degree Taurus. At that point, I think you will start to see sprouts of whatever this ego issue is, whatever this fascism is, whatever ego gone amok, which is quite possibly what we're facing here, is when ego goes amok, we'll see the sprouts probably beginning in May 2018. Now, at the same time, Saturn will be at 8 degrees retrograde Capricorn, which means we will have undone at that point the old regime. Now, I think when Hitler undid the old regime, he undid the last little stem of democracy left in Germany. And you might be suddenly terrified and afraid that that's what's going to happen in the United States. Remember how karma is. Karma is always one level up with the same view. So I don't think you will see the same type of horrible types of laws happening that we saw last time, but I still think that whatever we see will appear horrible, like this is not what we're going to want to have happen. And what this forces us to is to re-evolve our collective conscious. This is what I mean by the human re-evolution. And I do want to point out that it is a re-evolution, not a revolution. A revolution is the first bottom layer of the Aquarius consciousness, and we had the revolution in 1776. That was the revolution. Now that America has been around the block one full circle, it's time to re-evolve ourselves, and not through guns and not through violence, not this first level way, which there's a lot of dark proponents on the earth trying to push us towards a war with Russia, trying to push us towards war with each other, trying to propaganda us into being violent to one another, trying to propagate through fear. But, honestly, that's all the level we were at. So although I think we're up for some energetic hell, if you will, where we all have to stand up for our rights, I don't, again, think it's going to be at this bottom level. That's not the way it tends to work. So what can we do? I mean, I'm not going to go into it in this broadcast right now in pointing out what I see, but I will say this. If you're really concerned about Trump and you're really concerned about the government, let me tell you, that is a distraction to what the real problem really is. There is a much deeper systemic problem in our current one world order agenda going on. And for those of you who study this, you'll know it. But I think that we're going to have to be prepared for things on a scale we have not prepared for. And so I've come up with some things that I think you as a light walker can do. So I think all light walkers need to kind of be on alert as of this moment. It's time to get into spiritual shape. And it's time to bring yourself together and prepared, mostly so you can hold conscientious space, love, and light at the most critical time in the future, perhaps beginning around 2018. Now, what do I believe we need to do? First of all, there's different categories. I think spiritually, as of now, it's time to forgive yourself. Let the past go. Who cares what's happened up until now? You can't take that karma into the new conscious battles, if you will. Conscious, not physical battles. So forgive yourself. It's time to unite yourself and feel good. Realize that the dark powers on the planet have tried to fraction you, okay? You're white light, and they've tried to diffract you into a rainbow of colors, not being able to unite your own personal color and your own personal light. And being diffracted like that does not allow you to be in your full law of attraction power. So step number one is spiritually forgiving yourself, bringing yourself back together, loving yourself authentically every day, building a lifestyle of loving yourself, building a lifestyle of supporting yourself. You must be in your own power to represent the light, and it's time, I think, to get started, especially with the Sun in Aquarius, then Pisces and Aries. This is a new cycle. If you plant it now, you will be spiritually like a soldier. I don't want to use that term. Spiritual athlete. Okay, let's use that term. Again, I don't want to use that old revolutionary term. I want to use these re-evolutionary terms. You will be a spiritual athlete when you're done. So that's the spiritual side. Physically, it's time to end dependencies. If you're dependent on caffeine every day, get your body off of it. Don't let your body be dependent on any substance, especially a man-made substance. It just makes you vulnerable and makes you feel fractioned again because you feel like you have this thing outside of you that you need. Also, it's time to eat nutritionally. There's a ton of crap in this processed food, non-GMO food, organic food, and this is to put in your body so that all of your cells are healthy and aware and all working together, okay? It's time to exercise regularly. I can't tell you how many light walkers don't get off their ass, okay? Like, I don't like it either. I don't like going to the gym either, but you have to mind, body, and spirit. Your body must embody all of your values, and your body must be healthy. And here's the last one. You got to sleep regularly. You got to have regular sleep. That's another way we've been fractioned, is taking away our normal cycles. Sleep is not just rest for the body. The soul returns to God and has conferences. Okay, so it's important to sleep and get those God conferences in. Now, mentally, I'll just say, it's important to remain non-judgmental of yourself. Self-judgment gets you nowhere. The world will be judgmental enough. So there's no reason for you. You should face the world's judgment, not have to constantly face your own. So no self-judgment. Observe your reality rather than react, okay? I think in a time like this where you have lots of tyrant energy trying to run for the touchdown of the dark or whatever, it's better to observe and let people hang themselves, let society hang itself, than react right away. Observe. See what people are saying. See what the world is saying before you move for it. And lastly, be mindful of your own feelings. This is how we have really become fractioned inside ourselves. We've been told feelings are silly. We've been told to ignore the Force. And so we're a bunch of young Jedis running around the planet not listening to the Force. So listening to your feelings and what they tell you, what feelings come up when certain information comes up. When you get a bad feeling about something, listen to these things. Give them credit inside your soul and nurture yourself. You can't listen to your feelings if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling worried, if you're feeling all these old lower vibrations. You're not going to be able to feel the Force and feel if something is wrong. Okay? So the human re-evolution begins by getting spiritually in shape, my friend. And I want you to know, I'm just getting started myself on this regular routine. I've been on and off and on and off. So I will practice what I preach and try to get myself in spiritual shape too. But I think it's time for the light to unite. I think it's time for us to find who we frequent with. I think it's time for us to find the spiritual teams we want to be on. I don't think that Trump in this current presidency is going to be the real problem. I think we're going to have, unfortunately, larger problems ahead. But again, from a new perspective, and this time we have a population that is enlightened. Think about the last time. The last time the re-evolution or the revolution was managed by like 400 men, okay? Now we have 4 to 5 million conscious light walkers who are here to be foremothers and forefathers to the new age, particularly the baby boom, which will be another topic in the future. So we're not going to lose, but we do need to be in spiritual shape. All right, my friend. Well, I am so grateful to be of soul service to you. Bella and I totally enjoy showing up, and we totally appreciate your comments. I will have the February Megascope monthly audios available at the end of this coming week. So if you enjoyed the last one, you'll enjoy this one. I have evolved them as well and brought them up to a new light. And as always, I'll be back 1 week on video, but I'm available 4 more days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, on audio for an audio blog at SeriousJoy.tv. You'll also find information to purchase a reading with me or my product, Serious Joy. All right, friend, that's all I have for the week. Find your frequency, stay in your heart, and remember, I love you, and live, love, be.